Hi guys, Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in beautiful Cancun, Mexico. I could be on the beach right now doing this, but just way too windy today, and I feel bad because you should see the beach. It is beautiful. And Cancun's just such a fun place to go, great place to be, tons of Mayan sites, all kinds of great stuff. But no matter how much I love it here, there's things I don't like, and that's why we have the 5 things you're going to love and hate about visiting Cancun, Mexico. Now, I usually like to start with the bad news, and so we're going to go through the 5 things you're going to hate about coming to Cancun. And the first thing is, you know how I said we're in Cancun, Mexico? Well, actually, it should be called Cancun International, because one of the things you're not going to like about Cancun is you're not in Mexico. There's so many tourists here, it's so overrun with tourism that you don't meet Mexican people here, you don't meet Mayan people here, you don't see those things because you're hanging out with Russians and Germans at your all-inclusive resorts. And you don't get that Mexican culture or Mayan culture unless you go and take one of the tours to go see these places like Chichen Itza or Coba or these kind of things. So if you get a chance to go on those tours so you can actually get to know some of the culture around here, because you're not going to get at your all-inclusives, which most people come here for. And since it is so international, I mean, you don't get that Mexico feel to it. The second thing you're not going to like about coming to Cancun is you're going to need to rent a car and drive around, and the topes or speed bumps will break your suspension in your car. So when you see that little topes that look like 2 butt cheeks or boobs or whatever, make sure you slow down for those because they will destroy your car, and they're all over the place, especially if you're going to some of these smaller villages to see some of the Mayans and stuff like that. It is an issue, so make sure you're ready and be ready for that. Also, the traffic can be a little, heart-stopping, like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, kind of stuff. And I do apologize for the wind. I mean, no matter where I go here today, it's just the wind's following me. Okay, so just be prepared for that. Get the extra insurance like you have to. Get the right permits before you come. And realize that sometimes the cops may stop you to ask for a bribe or something like that. So be prepared for that. And they have cards you can get to kind of like credit card, like I'll pay later for my tickets and stuff like that. So sometimes it's best to get one of those when you're at the airport and you rent your car, then to deal with all that stuff while you're here. So that's the second thing you're not going to like. The driving, the parking, and the traffic when you get around here. And the topes, those big bumps, okay? The third thing you're not going to like about coming to Cancun is one of these typical tourism kind of things. Is, when you go to the sites, there's always lots of touts there trying to sell stuff. $1, $1, $1. No, when I say $1, it's $1 off the price they're going to give you. Or it's almost free, or it's cheaper than Walmart. You're going to hear these things a lot. And also when you go on all these tours, they always take you to, a handicraft place at the end to buy stuff. And that kind of gets a little boring after a while. It's like they all have the same kind of stuff in all these places. Like, look, I want to see Chichen Itza. I don't want to see, I want more time in Chichen Itza, less time at, the shops. So just know if you're taking a tour, you're going to deal with a lot of those things, okay? That's going to kind of annoy you. The fourth thing you're not going to like about Cancun is if you travel a lot around Mexico, it's not as cheap as the rest of Mexico. Now, it's still a very affordable place, but it's not as cheap as you're going to, Aguascalientes or Guadalajara and things like that. I mean, I find the average price of things is a little bit more here. It's still affordable, but it is more expensive than the rest of Mexico. The fifth thing you're not going to like is if you come at the wrong time of the year. Whether it's in the summer when it's so hot you're going to literally melt because it's like 50 Celsius or something like 110 degrees. Or if you come in March when all the college students are here for spring break and there's drunk parties everywhere. Now, if that's what you want, it's perfect. But you really need to do your research about when you're coming and where you're going to stay. Otherwise, that can ruin your vacation. Because if you're, a family and you end up going to a party all-inclusive, you're not going to like that. So make sure you do your research, okay? Now, those are just the 5 little things that I don't really like about Cancun. And you might not as well, but let's be honest, this is a fantastic place to come to, and you're really going to love it. So what are the 5 things you're going to love about coming to Cancun? Well, the first thing is the beaches. Obviously, we come here for the beach and the sun and all this great stuff, and the beaches here are fantastic. You can go snorkeling, you can go scuba diving. Guys, if you don't want to go on the beach, you can go to the cenotes. They're sinkholes in, inland where the Mayans got their fresh water, and you can go swimming in those, and they're just gorgeous to go through. So just, I don't know, you go in there like, oh, it's so calm and so amazing. It's just beautiful there. And that's one of those things you love. So it's the beaches and kind of the water, everything that's here. And all those activities that go along with that. Now, the second thing you're going to love is the tourist infrastructure. Cancun was nothing before the 70s. Then the government decided this is going to be our beach hub, a big tourism draw, and they went all in. And that's why you have all these all-inclusive, all these fantastic hotels here. Also, people speak English here a lot, okay, so that's great. The buses and the taxis and everything work well. You can take the bus here, no problem. It's safe, all these things just make it so a really good tourist environment, so you can come here with your family or your grandparents or whoever and have a good time, feel safe, and things work together. The airport's not a disaster either, so I mean, it's really nice in that the infrastructure is so good here. The third thing you're going to love about coming to Cancun, is why most people probably come a little bit younger than me, is the parties. Guys, the nightlife here is fantastic. Whether you're partying at your hotel or going to the clubs and bars in town, this place has got something for everybody. So if you're 50 and you want to go out clubbing, they've got that for you. If you're 20, they've got that for you. And they have a place where you can all mingle together, and it's just such a fun time. Whether you're at your all-inclusive drinking your pina coladas or on the beach someplace, it's just a really fun environment here. Everyone's here for that good time, and that kind of permeates through, so you get to meet other people when you're here and have a good time with them. The fourth thing you're going to love about coming here is obviously one of the reasons you come is the weather, guys. It's October, yes, it's a little windy, but this entire week I've been here, it's been in the 80s every day, so it's nice and sunny and warm. And you know what? If you're living in Toronto or Chicago in January, it's kind of a nice trip to come down here where it's in the 70s and it's like, oh, this is so nice. So the weather is fantastic here. Now make sure you bring your sunblock from home, because the sunblock is expensive here at the hotels, just so you know. And I find it not working as well as the ones you buy from home. Also, watch for the rainy season when that's going to be coming through, so you don't get stuck, you know, with everything flooded out and things like that, okay? And the fifth thing you're going to love are the Mayan sites. Guys, the Mayans were here and they were all over, with Chichen Itza, Coba. There's so many fantastic places to see for the Mayans that you really have to check them all out, because it is just fantastic to see them. So I hope that helped you get to know more what to expect when you're in London.